Hey everybody, did you know you can go to... So that was a failed take from a attempt at one of these videos that I saved because it was especially funny to me. I kind of just stumbled over my words because I tried to say the thing real fast, that way I can get that information out there without, slowing things down, and just kind of like started choking on my words one morning. Because, I want people to go look at my website, but I also don't want to spend the first 30 minutes of a video just talking about my website. So it's just like, hey, that's the website, go to it, you can buy art there, yada yada, right? And it's not a good animation, I'm not gonna lie, it's the second one that I've really done. But this week, obviously, we're talking about animation. More specifically, my first impressions of several different animation programs as I see them. And before we get into that, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Adobe products. I don't like Adobe. I don't like their business model. Their business model is incredibly entitled and makes no sense to me. Imagine that Adobe had a hammer. It would cost you $100 to buy up front, then $20 a month from then on to use until they decided they didn't like supporting that hammer anymore. They would come to your house, break it, and then tell you to buy a new hammer, which does the exact same thing for $100 again, and also $20 a month. They're selling you the right to use the thing that you already bought. That makes no sense to me, and it is such a corporate entitled mindset that I don't think that people should. If you like it, go off. You do you. I don't like it. I'm not using it. I can find hammers that I can just buy or get for free that do the same thing and don't act like I owe them for the rest of my life for access to the hammer I bought. So anyway, I'm going to talk about the programs I actually did use, starting with Blender. Blender is a 3D modeling program that wants to pretend it's a 2D animation program, which it can do okay, but it's not great at it, in my opinion. And a lot of that is just that they didn't want to change some of the vernacular they already had for 3D modeling stuff to make it fit more in line with something that would make sense for someone who isn't aware of their program and wants to use it as a 2D animation program, which is what I'm reviewing this as. So if you're already using Blender, if you're already familiar with Blender, using it as a 2D animation program is probably pretty straightforward. But knowing what their weird terms for different things are, very specifically to, Blender, makes no sense to me. It's not my thing. If Blender is a 3D animation or 3D modeling program that's pretending to be the 2D animation thing, then Pencil 2D is a program that is pretending to be an animation program. I'm not really sure who this program's for. I tried it for a bit and it legitimately just doesn't make sense to me. It seems very feature incomplete. It feels a lot more like KidWorks 2 than it does like a program that I should use as an adult. Maybe that's its purpose, but there are so many free options. All of these options I'm talking about today are free, that I don't see why I would use it instead of what I ended up using in the end, which is Krita. I've actually reviewed Krita previously in, a different aspect and reviewed it poorly because I didn't really like the way it worked. But as far as animation goes, it does a really good job. It makes a whole lot of sense to me. And it might actually convert me over to using it as my regular digital art program outside of, vector art situations, though it claims to do that too. I'm just really used to Inkscape. So yeah, that is what I ended up using because Krita has the features you would expect for an animation program. It has separate layers. It has the ability to change those colors either on a specific fill area where you could, change that dynamically through stuff like, once it gets to this frame, all of this, area turns to this color, which makes for animation a lot easier. You can do that in Blender to some degree, but obviously it's hidden behind like 3 other features. If 2D Pencil or Pencil 2D does that feature, I have no idea. I couldn't find it. Again, it feels feature incomplete. Krita has all the things that you would expect just from a traditional art program. It has the ability to just change the type of pencil you have, the stabilization to some degree, though I did have a lot of trouble finding where that feature was, and I'm still having a little bit of trouble of getting it to work exactly the way I want it to, but that's probably going to just take some more familiarity with the program. It was something I believe I had problems with in previous uses of Krita, and I think I figured out where the feature is, but it really doesn't feel like it's as responsive or easily accessed as Clip Studio's art ability, which is, a different thing entirely, and doesn't have animation options as far as I'm aware. Wait, does it? Just checked, it does. Would still prefer to use Krita for this specific purpose. And that being said, Krita just does seem to do the things that you would expect an animation program to do. It has, you know, the ability to have, you know, dodge and burn effects if you want to do that with overlays or whatever in order to get different effects. You can animate each frame individually, or you can have it stick on a frame. It does the things you would expect. And also, by doing all this, I learned a lot about just how to do animation in general and how little that animators are paid in functionality. All in all, I'm enjoying my time with it. I didn't ever think I would say that I would actually enjoy animating, because every time I've tried to do it in the past, it was horrible, because I tried doing some weird combination of like GIMP and like Sony Vegas, where I would like do the art in GIMP and then like move those over to... It was awful. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. Like, that was a horrible decision on my part. Anyway, if you like this and you want to see what my bouncing ball, my first animation using an actual animation program looks like, that'll be here while the credits are going on, and it's just gonna loop, because that seems like a thing to do, right? Anyway, let's do that thanking thing that I do, where I thank all the people at the $5 tier or more on patreon.com/RevScarecrow. If you want to join them, patreon.com/RevScarecrow. They help make it so that way I can actually do art as a thing and hopefully give you guys some tips on animation in the future. I don't know. I'd have to actually good at it first in order to like give tips on it, I think. But anyway, extra special thank you to my mom and dad. I love you. Thank you, Wapfu. Thank you, Tofoundur. Thank you, Skelecorgi. Thank you, Reverend Joe. Thank you, Retrograde. Thank you, Mortis. Thank you, Michael Carr. Thank you, Kayla Hullinger. Thank you, Josepher. Thank you, Gala. Thank you, Gabriel Bennett. Thank you, Freak Wannabe. Thank you, Egg. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you, Chiptune Glitch. Thank you, Bep. Thank you, Ash316. Thank you, Amber. And thank you, Ats! Feels good to be able to shout that again, man. Not in a hotel room anymore. Anyway, that's your bouncing ball, and that's your video. Hope you enjoyed it. I really like the features of Krita, and I honestly think that if you're looking to get into animation, Krita seems to have the features that you would expect an animation program to have, and it's also free, which is great. Enjoy. I'll see you next time. Bye.